Hello and welcome. This is Bloomberg Quint, and we are here to take stock of the markets. In the markets wrap, let's take a look at how markets have fared today, and after that, we can also take a look at how they have done through the course of the week. Today, we did see a little more weakness, clocking the 8th straight day of losses for the Nifty. So there certainly is a lot of weakness at this point in time. Z Entertainment looking at a little bit of recovery in the State Bank of India after moving down. We've seen it move up quite considerably, ending the day with gains of as much as 3%. Bharti Airtel, Titan, as well as India Boost for housing finance advancing in trade. On the losing end, we have Tata Steel. Of course, this is on account of developments with respect to ThyssenKrupp and HCL Technologies reacting to earnings. Yes Bank, moving down. And further, Innocent Bank and Corp, among others, which are down in trade. Taking a look at the broader markets, and that is where things are not very different. Suzlon Energy, PNB Housing Finance, and Jindal Stainless advancing. On the losing end, we have something like a Delta Corp correcting quite substantially, along with Venky's and Mahanagar Gas as well, largely on account of earnings. But how was this week? And no prizes for guessing. We did see declines, 3.7% decline for the Nifty, and there were only two gainers. In fact, Eicher Motors was flat, and only marginal gains for TCS, which means that 48 companies on the Nifty declined through the course of the week. Tata Motors, Reliance Industries, and Tata Steel leading the gains, each of these losing out more than 11% in this week. Moving on, when it comes to the broader markets, I'm sure the picture may not be very different, but there was a 23% gain for Reliance Communication. But among some other important names, we have PNB Housing Finance advancing by as much as 12%. Edelweiss, Welspun Corp all up and about. On the losing end, Diwan Housing Finance down, Cox & Kings, Reliance Home, as well as India Real Estate also declining. Now, we had, a very, very, I would say volatile week. Let's talk about some of those events which did, chart and, play a very important role when it comes to movement on the indices. So we can perhaps talk about earnings, and among the few actually there was just one which actually did earnings among the prominent names. So Bharti Airtel were good earnings, even though it did see a little bit of a decline coming through. Titan Escorts, HCL Technologies, Vedanta, CEAT, the numbers are fairly stable, I would say. Marico, ICICI Bank, and State Bank of India. So those can be considered as a positive, though they were most largely in line with what what the street was working with. There was disappointment in Asian Paints and Apollo Tyres. VIP Industries, a howler of operating margins coming through. Mahanagar Gas weak, as was the case for Voltas, and in a season where you're actually expecting an uplift or an up move in white goods. But this is as far as your earnings are concerned. Let's talk about what we can expect as we move into trade next week, starting off with your futures and options space. And this is as far as your open interest distribution is concerned. So on the lower end, you're looking at 11,000 put as the one with the maximum open interest. On the higher end, it is around 12,000. It's a very broad range, and it is tough to make of what the markets can do as we move into a trade next week. But we must remember that a majority of the earnings are behind us. The volatility that may now come through for markets will largely be on account of expectations and speculation around elections, and secondly, of course, global cues that may just have a significant impact on the way Indian markets pan out. But moving on, what are the other events that are lined up? So, I did speak about earnings, so let's talk about those. We will have HDFC Limited and ITC, two Nifty heavyweights announce earnings next week on Monday. Bajaj Finance and Bajaj Finserv, so two stocks which have done very well last year, will also be in focus on Thursday, along with, of course, Hindalco. And on Friday, we will have earnings from Bajaj Auto, Dr. Reddy's, Indian Oil Corp, and UPL. So, earnings are not exactly completely over, and it is going to be another very important week when it comes to some of those key earnings to watch out for. That said, what are the events? Apart from earnings, let's also take a look at what we need to watch as far as events are concerned. First up, the 6th phase of the Lok Sabha polls on Sunday, and May 12th focus will shift to Jharkhand and Bihar, where BJP is trying to make inroads. On Monday, May 13th, we will have the consumer price index data for April, and then watch out for wholesale prices data on Tuesday, that is May 14th. And lastly, we will be looking for the trade balance and import-export numbers for the month of April on Wednesday, May 15th. So, a bunch of important economic variables that may also have a play out when it comes to the economy. But as I mentioned, at this point in time, it is going to be all about speculation with respect to elections, as well as the kind of influence the global markets can have on our own Indian markets, and that will continue to remain in focus, along with, of course, some key earnings which come through in the last few legs of this season. On that note, it's a wrap on the markets, but lots more lined up. Stay tuned to Bloomberg Quit, and we will keep bringing you more.